As you can see, there's Hurricane Dorian just churning out in the western Atlantic. It's quite a monster. Just looking at this, life-threatening storm surge with significant coastal flooding is expected on a large portion of the southeast and mid-Atlantic coast of the United States during the next couple of days. It's not going to be a good situation. Another thing to note is that it has strengthened as I was talking about in my other videos. It's strengthened a little bit, went up to 955 or down to 955 millibars with max winds of 115 miles an hour now. So it's a really dangerous situation. It's not going to strengthen much more, which is the good news, but it is allowing it to keep its strength and gain a little bit more. You can see that especially the south and southeastern part of the storm, we'll start to get those red tops, so that's just an indication of strengthening. Eye wall is a little bit ragged still, a little lopsided, but it has come back. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to just put them in the chat and I'll answer them the best I can. But as you can see, this is a strong storm. It's going to impact the Carolinas. It's going to be a lot of coastal flooding, a lot of storm surge, a lot of beach erosion, heavy rain, which is going to cause ponding on the roadways, as we're already seeing that in parts of southern Carolina. It's going to be a bad situation when it comes to flooding. Go over here to the radar. You can see again the strong cells in here. Got some strong ones up there as well. Let's zoom out here a little bit. See those cells going up into North Carolina. So they're already going to get some rain before the main part of the hurricane gets to them, which isn't good. If we zoom back in here, the thing to look at here is you can see along the coast here, these coastal towns are just getting hammered right now. Savannah's getting hammered. All that water is going to get in there in the bays and the rivers, and it's going to back up the whole water systems. You can see just how much rain. I mean, this is pretty heavy rain. Thankfully, the bigger bands are still offshore. But what we're looking at is it's going to continue north and then make a northeast jog, and hopefully not make a landfall. You can see it's going to come awfully close here on the coast of South and North Carolina. We'll see if those winds, upper level winds, help push it offshore. There's upper level winds that are coming out of the south a little bit here off to the southeast, which we were seeing on the visible. Let me see, I got it pulled up here. Actually, yeah, you can see a little bit here, the upper level winds start helping to direct this thing sheared a little bit, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. I mean, it's forecast decided. There's a high kind of here over to the east southeast of this storm, and it's riding up the backside of that high. There's a little bit of a hole, if you will, between the backside of that high and then the upper level winds over here with this weak front coming down. So we'll see if that continues and helps to steer this thing off to the northeast. But you can see it's pretty close to the coast, so they're probably going to get into the hurricane force winds. As we look again on the radar here, you can see, I mean, the hurricane force winds are extending out a little bit, probably into these yellows. It's going to be a close situation. We'll see what happens. Other thing I wanted to show you guys was some pictures here. Let's see if this will load for me again. So here you go. Here's some pictures from the Bahamas. And just total flooding in the first level of the house for sure. The wind blew the roof off, a lot of the shingles, or parts of the roof, I should say. This actually may not be wind induced. This may have been people up in the attic during the high storm surge that cut their way out. You see it's in very specific spots like this. So they may have cut themselves out to get rescued during the storm surge in the worst of the storm. This is just this just tells you what wind and storm surge can do. That looks like a trailer maybe over there, but several homes just knocked off their foundation. Just a really, really horrible view. Let's see if we can enlarge it. I mean, you can see everything's just destroyed. Just wood. It's like toothpicks everywhere. Just everything globbed together. I guess I could have just said, "Hey, Slays," instead of typing to you. You got any questions on anything here? Here's another picture of some more damage. This is interesting. I don't know if this is part of the house or something was flown up there or put up there by the water. Like I was saying in Katrina, after I went down there and saw the aftermath of Katrina, we were seeing refrigerators on top of like boat launches. There were some covered mooring spots for slips. We were seeing refrigerators up there, so that was a good 15 feet in the air probably. So that was a pretty interesting situation. All the canals down to one of the boat launches was littered with debris like this. It was nothing to find cars. We found cars all over the place. Thank God we didn't find any bodies, but I was actually worried about that because we went into some areas and took out some barges, and areas where they had a lot of debris like this in them, a lot of grass and stuff. So really crazy. Here's another picture, just again, just total devastation. You can see some containers in here these are shipping containers. I don't know if they were probably just stacked at the port. I don't see any undercarriages for the semis that they put these on, and I don't see any large ships around. It takes a lot to push a ship around to get it off its the big container ships. Takes a lot to push them around as far as the lines breaking loose. They use huge cable lines and several of them tied up. So I would think all those big ships were probably out of the way, and these were probably down at the port just sitting. They got tipped over and washed around. Full or not, that water will just push them all around. It's an airplane that made its way from wherever the runway is. This obviously wasn't crashed, but you can still see debris in here. Water level still pretty high. You see some more debris in the water there. Trees just tipped over. Again, this is just a crazy, crazy situation down there in the Bahamas. Just utter destruction. This is what happens when you get storm surge of 22 feet. I believe was what the maximum prediction was, and 220 mile an hour wind gusts. That pushes around a lot of water. There's just more of the town just destroyed. You see some containers dotted in here in a few places. Just crazy, crazy situation. There's a house just destroyed, probably was 2 levels, maybe another level on top, and you can see the walls bowed in. It's nuts. Dock's gone. Looks like the waves were still crashing up here. I mean, you got water there and water here. I know it's beautiful down there, but It's not a great place to build. On the side of a hill here. I mean, all that water is just going to erode the land away. This is going to fall eventually. That's why we have to tear this down. It's like a 3-story home. Maybe this didn't have much in it so the water could flow through, but just see, ripped all the shingles off and some of the siding. And again, you start to get up higher. I mean, you're more exposed to the wind, so nothing new there. But yeah, these are all pictures out of the Bahamas. Just totally destroyed. It's just crazy. See all the roofs damaged. Lots of water. It's nuts. More destruction. So let's take another look here at the hurricane. Talk again about the latest advisory here. It's on this one right here. 955 millibars, winds of about 115 miles an hour. Moving north at 7 miles per hour. So the speed has dropped. That's one thing too I didn't mention, is the speed's dropped by a mile an hour to the north. It's not moving off to the west anymore, which is expected. It's expected to shoot off to the northeast. But I don't know if it's going to do it or not. We'll have to wait and see on that. This is an overall picture of the tropics here, the Atlantic into off the coast of Africa here. So with this one, you can see Dorian. There's a tropical storm moving into Mexico right now. It's pretty low, so not much to worry there. There's disturbance there, and then one there, and then another one coming off the coast. So if you go over here and take a look, you can see here's Trinidad. It's just the remnants of it now, so it's dying a pretty fast death. It's 30 miles an hour, 1,007 millibars. Moving west-northwest 8 miles per hour. There's Dorian, hurricane category 3 now, by the way, because the winds went up to 115, so it met the threshold for category 3. So right here is disturbance number 1. They have 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. Unfavorable upper level winds, so this will probably not develop any further, which is good news. Here's Gabriel. This is supposed to move out to the northwest. It shouldn't develop into anything too much, and when it does, it'll head up to the north and then probably get cut into the upper level high that's here, and it'll probably eject it out off to the northeast. This one is just a new tropical wave that's coming off the coast of Africa. It's going to be developing most likely because it's in a good area here for development, but they're saying it's going to take a little while, so they have 50% in the next 5 days. So it's going to take a little while for it to develop at all, but it's in a good spot. This is 10 to 15 degrees north. This is a good area for it to develop and get into 20 degrees, north around in here. This is prime area right now for everything to develop, like we just saw with Dorian. So hopefully this one will head off to the north and then go to the northeast. But I mean, if you look at it, it's just kind of going straight off to the west. We'll have to see what happens with it and see if anything further develops. You got a little bit of action down here, but nothing too much going on right now. So we'll see what happens with it. So yeah, you can just see they're still getting hammered here in Savannah. Savannah's getting some pretty good action for thunderstorms. Getting the strong bands coming in. So pretty crazy. So as this continues to go north, you're going to see these stronger bands. They're going to affect, they're going to be closer to the shore. So the storm surge is just going to increase through the night. I believe Charleston over here, Charleston's right there under the red, but Charleston has a high tide coming up. I believe tomorrow, let's see, tomorrow morning is their low tide, and then tomorrow later afternoon is their high tide. So this thing's going to be going by right during their high tide, and that's not going to be a good situation with the storm surge, the wind, the rain. So it's going to be an interesting situation. They're going to see some flooding, not only from the rain, but from everything else that they're going through, with the wind and the storm surge. Hopefully the beach erosion will not be too bad, because that's really going to, it's really going to make things worse on them. That's one of the problems. You get these storms come through and it just erodes all the beach, and the beach erosion really adds to the next storm, causing even more flooding. So, is anyone watching that lives down here in the Carolinas? That would be interesting to see if anyone's yet to evacuate, or if they're still thinking of evacuating. Because this area, it's going to be real bad, especially around Charleston, Savannah. Those major towns are going to be real bad. The thing that's really crazy is I was down here in Brunswick back in Easter weekend. I was down there, and it's really low lying. There's not much blocking the ocean from coming in. We were sitting on the beach out here, and there was just literally a little hill behind us for a sand dune, blocking all the ocean from coming into the hotels and all the businesses and the homes. So yeah, where I was right now is just getting inundated with storm surge. I'm sure those hotels are probably flooding, and it's not a good situation. Beautiful place, but not where you want to be during a hurricane. So yeah, crazy situation here, and it's just going to continue. This isn't a fast-moving tropical system by any means. It's just moving slowly to the north. It's just going to help with the inland flooding, storm surge, all that stuff. So if anyone lives in this area, now's the time to get out. If you know anyone that lives there, get a hold of them, tell them to get out. And there's tons of evacuations in place. If you read through the description on the video here, I have things for Florida, Georgia, North, South Carolina, up into Virginia as far as evacuations go. I have info as far as FEMA. You can download the FEMA app, so if you're stepping away, you don't have internet at home, you just have your mobile phone or your iPad or whatever, you can check out the app, and you can get different information on where to go and what to do, as well as if you want to just donate. I got the Red Cross information on there. You can go to their website and donate, or you can text and donate $10, all that kind of thing. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anyone watching has anyone over there or is over there themselves or close to the area. Because like I said, this is a very low-lying area. And hopefully everyone heeded the warnings and they're getting out of there. I know they had contraflow on the freeways, which is they turn all the lanes in one direction on both sides of the freeway to get everyone out of these cities. If you check your navigation on your phone and you look up the highways over here, it'll tell you about it. Show them as blocked off routes because you can't get into these cities. Everything's going, all the contraflow is headed off to the west to get people out of these cities faster. Let's look at a few more pictures here. So yeah, this is just a house on a little tiny island, literally. Pretty crazy. Same thing there, a bunch of houses on a little tiny island. That's a bunch of storm surge. You can see it's up to the wheel wells. That's an SUV. It's a little lower over here. Maybe the ground's higher or something, or there could be a little canal over here, but that's a fair amount of water getting in there. Pretty crazy in the Bahamas. This is just, what do you say? And you got a car overturned, you got houses all pushed around and into each other, destroyed. Just like a mixer, like you put your food in a mixer, and it just mixes everything up there, and man, it's crazy. Just crazy. All this, just pieces of houses, just got all churned up and thrown together. Some people, they're trying to help each other out and get out of these houses and get to a safer place. Beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, but I mean, look at this destruction. It's probably like a stucco wall, maybe. I don't know. Looks like they had some docks set up, just totally destroyed. Everything's just gone. It's like the whole level was ripped off this house. At least a roof. I mean, there's no trusses or anything. It's just gone. Maybe it was a flat roof building. I don't know, but you can just see. I mean, there's a hole here, and all the shingles are ripped off. This thing's pretty much destroyed. Looks like a wall collapsed. Same thing in this one. It looks like maybe a hole. Maybe the side of the house blew out, and this one's just totally destroyed. Roof came off, and it started pushing walls down. Just horrible. Here's another blender picture. Just everything went together, forced by the water, and the water drained, and everything just sits where it is. I saw a lot of this when I was down in New Orleans after Katrina. Same type of deal. The water just left houses in the middle of the road and boats and everything. So there's the latest update. Cat 3, 115 miles per hour, 957 millibars, moving north at 7. Excuse me, just sitting off that coast. Sitting off the coast of Georgia now. It's just churning. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just make a comment and let me know. I'll do my best to answer for you. But this is as of 1 a.m. Eastern. They'll do another update at the top of the hour. This update is from the Air Force. Hurricane hunters went in there and they found enough data to bump it up to 115 miles per hour, pressure down at 957 millibars, as well as upgraded to a Cat 3 hurricane. So here we are. Here's the latest on Hurricane Dorian. Now a Cat 3. Winds are 115 miles an hour, so it meets that Cat 3 threshold. Pressure is at 957 millibars, and the movement is north at 7 now. So this is a powerful, powerful storm. It's a big storm. It's got a lot of energy with it, and it can produce a lot of storm surge damage. So welcome to the live stream, everyone. Quite the delay.